Hello and bonjour. Here is a map of France. No, wait, sorry, you can't actually see it. Can we zoom in a bit? Bit more? That's better. Here is a map of France. You can find it yourself if you go on Google Earth and look at the suburbs about 30 kilometres west of Paris. But hang on, why has someone put a tiny copy of France inside France? Well, today we're going to find out. Or more accurately, we're going to find out what happens when you let a bunch of massive geography nerds make their own amusement park. Welcome to France Miniature. It is August 2023 and I'm standing in the middle of Paris. Sort of. Okay, before anyone panics, the French capital is not actually under attack from rampaging hordes of giants. This is France Miniature. It's a bit like a model village, but for a whole country. There are something like 2,000 model buildings here, representing cities and sites from all over France, some of which are places that you'll know, some of which are places that I'd never heard of but now I want to go there, and some of which are places that you might recognise because some YouTube channel that you watch once made a video in that exact spot.
But of course, we're not here to see any of that.
But today, for once, we actually are here to see that. Every single one of these models has been lovingly recreated in 1/30th of the original size and then laid out geographically accurately, or as close as possible, on a giant map of France. And it's not just buildings and monuments. The park has been carefully landscaped to include all of France's major mountain ranges, and even the little rivers are in the right places. So if we follow this train out of Paris and over towards the eastern side of the park, we'll find places from eastern France, like the magnificent chateau of Sedan and the arguably even more magnificent chateau of Haut-Königsbourg, and as we saw earlier, Place Stanislas from the city of Nancy. And then if we head northwards, we'll find the more Flemish style buildings that you get up near the Belgian border, including the famous belfries that you'll find all over northern France and Belgium. Meanwhile, over in the northwest, there's Normandy, with its military cemeteries and a spectacular recreation of Mont Saint-Michel. And since I now seem to be on some sort of anti-clockwise Tour de France, I guess we might as well go ahead and do the full circle. We're not going to do all 116 spots from the official map, but we'll have a little taster. So next up is Brittany, with its traditional stone fishing cottages and their traditional blue painted shutters, and then we start coming down the west coast with the port of La Rochelle and this Napoleonic sea fort that'll be familiar to anyone who's ever been to France and switched on a television. And arriving in the southwest now, this giant pink wedding cake is actually the Basilica of Toulouse. And then we come to one of the most impressive models in the whole park, the medieval citadel of Carcassonne. Don't get me wrong, all of the models here are very good, but they've really gone to geographically accurate 1/30th scale medieval town on this one. Moving gradually across the south of France now, I feel like I'm doing a weather forecast, we first pass the Roman aqueduct of the Pont du Gard and then the Roman arena from the city of Arles, before finally hitting the Mediterranean coast in Marseille. And this is where you can sort of tell the park was designed for Parisians. While Paris gets a dozen different buildings and covers an area the scale size of Switzerland, Marseille gets one building, the famous Notre-Dame de la Garde, and an interactive model of a container port. Still, could be worse. The beautiful island of Corsica is represented by a lump of mud in a pond. But there's better news for the city of Lyon, which gets the full treatment, with this detailed recreation of Place Bellecour and the Fourvière Hill, as well as a fully functioning canal lock. This is another interactive model, and it's designed to teach children how canals work, except the barge moves at such a realistically slow pace that most kids lose patience before it's even started. So in many ways it teaches them exactly how canals work. And finally, moving back up through central France, there's just about time to take in some of the country's most breathtaking chateaux before we cross over the River Loire at Orléans. That tells us we're officially in the north of France again. And shortly afterwards, we arrive back where we started, in Paris. So there we go. The reason someone put a tiny copy of France inside France is because it's a great way to teach families about the geography, history, and culture of the country. Either that or someone just wanted to build a giant train set. If you'd like to visit France Miniature, you'll find it in the suburb of Elancourt, about an hour west of Paris. The easiest way to get there is definitely by car, but it is possible by public transport. You need to catch a suburban train from Montparnasse in the direction of Rambouillet and get off at a station called La Verrière before catching the number 420 bus in the direction of, well, never mind, and that will drop you a 5-minute walk from the park. Tickets are €20 per person if you buy in advance, while it's free for under 4s, and the whole park is accessible for wheelchairs and pushchairs. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.